All right, so let's talk about credit. Most times when you start talking about credit, most people look at credit from the standpoint of, what is my credit score? How can I get a good credit score? And usually we're reaching for this number 700 because on us, credit scores start out at 300 and they go up to 850. And we hear this thing that everybody says is that once you get a 700, you can basically write your own ticket. You can get whatever you want. And we all go out and we try to get that 700. And when we get the 700 credit score, then we want to get to that 800. And when you get to the 800, it's just natural to try to get the perfect score at 850. But what we also need to understand is that if you're chasing credit scores, you're chasing debt. Because the entire system, it's a debt management system. It's a measurement of how well you manage debt. So as your debt decreases, when you get down to zero utilization rates, so will your credit score. So here's a quick example of what I'm talking about. Just recently in my own financial situation, I had some credit card debt, some lingering credit card debt I had just hanging around that I was being charged interest on. And not only was I being charged interest on it, it was also holding me back from going to the next level as far as my net worth is concerned. My focus had changed. I really wasn't concerned about building credit. I had built enough credit. Now what I was more concerned about was building net worth. And in building net worth, I realized I needed to chop down some of that credit card debt. So I said, okay, let's get rid of all of the debt with the exception of the mortgage and then start tackling the mortgage. So that's what I did. I got rid of all of the credit card debt. And then when I got down to about a 4% utilization rate, I saw my credit score balloon to 839. So I continued to get out of debt, got down to a zero utilization rate, and then I noticed that my score dropped from 839 to 814. So I lost 25 points when I came down to a zero utilization rate. So that shows you that it's about managing debt. It's not necessarily about getting out of debt. That's not what they want you to do. The whole idea of scoring you and giving you a score is basically to encourage you to get more debt. So when you start coming out of debt, just know that it's very possible that your credit score is going to drop, especially when you get down to zero utilization rates. Now, if you keep a balance out there and you pay that balance off every so often, then I'm sure you can continue to grow your credit score. But I'm not focused on credit score. You'll get to a point where you're not focused on credit score. You're going to be at some point focused on building wealth, building your overall net worth, if, in fact, you want to be a millionaire, if you want to be financially free. And credit is not a measure of wealth. I think oftentimes we get that misunderstood. People think if they have good credit means that they have some type of wealth. And all good credit is saying that you manage debt well. You pay your debts on time. It's not a measure of wealth. Now, does it mean you can go out and get a car? Yes. Does it mean you can go out and get a house? Yes, because you have good credit. But it does not mean that you're wealthy. And could I do both? Could I keep building credit if that's what I wanted to do? Sure, I could. I could keep building toward that 850 score, but that's just not important to me at this time. I'm not, after an 850 credit score, I'm more concerned about building wealth. And I think sometimes we have to decide which direction do we really want to go and put all of our effort, all of our energy behind that one direction instead of trying to go 2 or 3 different ways at once. Can you do it? Yes. But you'll still have to pay interest. And I don't want to pay interest. I've gotten to the point now that, I just don't want to carry a balance on a credit card or to use a credit card even, because I have a credit card, a Chase credit card. Once I use that credit card, they're going to charge me purchase interest charge. So whether I pay it off right away or not, I'm still going to have to pay that purchase interest charge. And I just refuse to do that at this stage of the ball game because I'm so focused on building wealth. So it's up to you. You can decide which direction you want to go. You can do both at the same time if that's what you want to do, but that's just not my game right now. You'll have to choose what direction you want to go. And isn't that the freedom of choice? To choose the direction that you want to go, to decide how you want to move toward the success that you want to achieve and move in that direction, move on your own terms. But now it's also important to remember that at some point You have to assess your movements. You have to assess what it is that you're doing to see what type of results that you're getting. And if you're getting results that are moving you toward achieving your goal, then you're on the right track. But if you're not, then of course you have to reconsider. You have to say, hey man, I've been doing this plan right here for the last 6 months, 8 months, and this is what I've gotten out of it. But if you don't see that you're getting anything, it's not moving you closer to where you want to go, then you may want to consider a different way of going about things. But now, yes, we understand things take time, but you can see after a 6 or 12 month period of time whether you're going in the right direction or not, because the whole idea is to assess yourself. You can't just make a goal and never assess it, because then it's not really a goal, it's just a wish. And wishes just don't work. You have to have a plan if you really want to be financially free. I personally don't think that there's anything wrong with using credit. I'm not one of those people who says that no one should ever have any credit. I believe that we're also going to go through some bumps, some bruises with credit, but you just try to make sure that you're not making catastrophic errors as it pertains to credit, because some people can go out and make some real serious errors and get you in a place where it's very, very hard to get out of. So don't do that with your credit. Be more responsible with it than that. Don't make those catastrophic errors. Use your credit and learn from using it. Build the credit that you want to build if that's what you want to do. But there will come a point in time where you probably won't be so focused on credit, because you're going to see that the game changes. It's not necessarily about credit when you're trying to build wealth, because the more credit you have extended to you, in most cases, the more damage it's doing to your net worth. Now, are there people out there that know how to leverage credit and use it to their advantage? Sure there are, but that's not most people. And the problem is that most people think that they can apply those same strategies and get the same results, and oftentimes they don't. And that's when the catastrophic errors occur. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I certainly hope this information has been helpful. Remember this: if you really want to be financially successful, you will have to practice certain disciplines, and you will have to practice those disciplines over a long period of time usually. It usually doesn't happen in a very short period of time. In order to shorten the window, we have to increase what it is that we're doing. We have to put more money behind what we're doing. But until that time comes, we just have to practice and keep practicing until we get to where it is that we want to go. There's a saying that says, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellent then is not one act, but a habit. If you sow a thought in your mind, from that thought comes an action. If you sow an action in your mind, from that action come habits. If you show habits in your mind, from those habits come a certain character. So we don't just stumble into our destiny. We walk into our destiny step by step, pace by pace, based off of the decisions that we've made. I wish you the very best in your life and business. See you at the top, because the bottom is much too crowded.